Hi, peace and love, everybody. So I want to talk about a BFF of mine who would have turned 65 this month, but tragically passed away 20 years ago. We were such close pals that we actually called each other pal. We never used each other's names. I had the privilege of visiting Pal several times during his final weeks, including a visit to the hospital. And when I got there, he was having lunch and finishing his lunch. His wife was there supporting him because his illness had taken away some of his dexterity. And and then she got a phone call. She got a call and she said, "I need to take this call," and she ran out of the room. So we did what we do best. We were reminiscing about our high school shenanigans and laughing. But he was distracted, and he became increasingly distracted by this plastic container of orange juice, right, with the foil lid. And he was pawing at it, looking at me, looking back at the juice. Again, couldn't open it because of the dexterity issues. Finally, well, he says, he blurts out after like 10 minutes, "What's taking her so long? Where is she?" So I decided I'm going to put the dude out of his misery. I got up, walked toward him, grabbed the OJ, ripped off the foil, set it on his tray table. No words exchanged. Uh, I sat down. He chugged the juice. We continued to reminisce, which, by the way, was really mostly me reminiscing and him raising his eyebrows and chuckling because speech had become increasingly difficult for him as well. His wife finally returned after a half hour or so. And the first thing she said, she looked at him and she said, "How did you get your juice open?" And he said, with exuberance that I hadn't seen for months and would never see again, "Pal did it for me." And then he looked over at me. He and I never discussed this experience or any significance it might have had for him. But I can tell you that from that point on, in all of our subsequent visits, he asked for and accepted my help several times, which, quite frankly, I don't recall him ever doing the previous 30 years, despite how close we were. He was suddenly vulnerable with me, even taking walks with me, pushing him in a wheelchair. So, so what the hell does this have to do with my life now? Well, birds of a feather flock together, right? And, whether it's pride, self-worth, self-consciousness, or maybe just a guy thing, right? Uh, I too have always been reluctant to ask for or even accept help. Uh, and this reluctance has bitten me in the ass many times uh, since I've become susceptible to post-exertional malaise due to my illness. At home, for example, my wife and I have always had a value of, and we have lived up to having a fair division of labor. And among my responsibilities have been laundry and cleaning. So one day, after I'd been sick for a few months, and there are many other examples of this, my wife was cleaning the floors, which is, again, my job. But I wasn't up to it. And I saw her doing it and I just couldn't take it. Again, self-worth, whatever it was, guilt. And I just mustered up the energy and I went over and I just said, I got this. And she handed me the dust mop. She showed great restraint in not saying what I'm sure she was thinking. Not knock yourself out, idiot. And that's what I proceeded to do, knock myself out. Yeah, I finished the floors and I had trouble getting out of bed the next 3 days. I can't speak for Pal, but I guess in my case, I think I've always seen accepting or asking for help as a sign of weakness. But I have to say, as I think about Pal and his final days and weeks, um, I saw it as a sign of great strength in him uh, at the end of his life. So maybe it's time to see it as a sign of strength in me for the rest of my life. If I could say one thing to Pal, it's 20 years after his passing, I would say, I love you, I miss you, and I want you to know that for me, our friendship is the gift that keeps on giving. Peace and love.